How's it, everyone? Thank you very much for joining me here again on MV Rugby. And got a massive epic derbies again right here in South Africa. The Bulls taking on the Lions in Ellis Park, and of course the Stormers that was taking on, moving on, still against the Sharks, but moving on from the DHL Stadium into the Kings Park Stadium in Durban. A hot weekend for both teams. We saw water breaks across the board quite often, as it was just very much not a very hot day, so sear, but very oppressive, humid kind of weather conditions in both stadiums. So very much hydration periods that was used, and of course all the cold water towels coming out to kind of just alleviate a bit of the heat for the players. Heat stroke is obviously a very, very dangerous thing and a very real threat to a lot of these players. So I think the Bulls still marred with a few injuries as well. Sebastian de Klerk not making it into this game due to a head injury. Suffered some serious concussion the previous week. So not joining the Bulls in this time around in Ellis Park. But it's been quite a bit of a wild ride to both these teams. There's fixtures obviously now for the URC is changing a bit. These was the last games now for the next couple of weeks. The Lions will be facing the Sharks in another South African derby on the 21st of February only. And Cardiff Rugby against Leinster also on the 27th of February. Edinburgh will be taking on Scarlets on the 27th of February. The Lions going then against the Stormers on the 28th of February. And then the Glasgow Warriors going up against Connacht on the 28th of February. And the Bulls squaring off in another South African derby against the Sharks on the 28th of February as well. So they're taking a bit of a break now as the Six Nations is kicking off, and that's going to be also quite the doozy. I mean, something to look forward to. Six Nations kicking off on, I think, when it's going to be the 5th of February. That's tomorrow. Doing this on the 4th. Tomorrow, basically, the Six Nations kicking off as France is taking on Ireland. Going further from there, Italy will be facing off against Scotland, England against Wales, and that's going to be some powerful rugby and matches coming your way. So that is just absolutely going to be something to look forward to. But for now, let's talk about the two massive derbies that played off this last weekend here in Ellis Park and the Kings Park Stadium. Let's talk rugby. Okay, so once you've decided that you've now already lost your winning streak, so why not make it 2 for 2? Stormers and Sharks, of course, and not the performance that we expect from these guys. That started off so well, defeating one of the URC champions right in the first game, and then going to win 8 consecutive games within the URC back to back, without breaking a sweat. Wonderful performance. Absolute masterclass gameplay that we've seen thus far from the Stormers, and in the last 2 weeks is just all went straight hell. And maybe I'm being a bit over, melodramatic over here, but you expect something more from these guys. And I don't know if this maybe was like a winning recipe by the Sharks that they've suddenly hit on with JP Peterson, but or whether the Sharks just clicked all of a sudden. And you don't expect, your team that's been doing so well over the last couple of months, really, to fall down so badly as they have in the last 2 weeks. Now, admittedly, Stormers performed a lot better last weekend than they did the weekend before. Only losing 24-36 to the Sharks. And, well, shall we just say, there were some improvements made, but there's a whole lot of room for a lot more improvements. Although there is some controversy that I will be talking about, especially, and I'm going to criticize the ref here again, not because of the Stormers lost, and I might appear biased towards the Stormers, but yeah, look, the Stormers is my team, and I'd love it if they do well, but I have to praise the Sharks for their performance in the last 2 weeks, because they did exceptionally well. A lot of discipline issues on both sides, conceding quite a few penalties here and there, obviously. But I would like to just first mention that the wheeling of the scrum, that was, I think, twice being the Stormers on the receiving end of the penalty for it, and then the last dying moments of the game, suddenly it becomes the Sharks' fault. How do you measure that whenever a team buckles under pressure, or either the tight head or loose head prop buckles under pressure, the scrum is going to wheel? And is it really the Stormers' fault if either the Sharks' tight head or loose head prop suddenly cannot take the pressure anymore, and he starts backpedaling? Now the scrum starts wheeling because the other prop is still maintaining his position. He's still maintaining the pressure, still keeping it. It's just the other side that's kind of faulted. And I cannot for the life of me think that, when you see the Stormers scrum moving forward, they're pushing forward. They're not pushing to, around the corner all of a sudden. It's just exactly when his exact opposite number starts buckling. He cannot handle the pressure, and he either stands up in the scrum, he collapses, or the scrum starts wheeling. Now, generally, we all know when a scrum collapses, it's usually the team that collapses that gets their penalty awarded against them. But in a scrum wheeling, how do you measure who's at fault? I would say that the tight head prop that starts buckling, that's the one that's at fault. He cannot handle the pressure, so which he should be able to maintain. If he can't, well then, that's the good luck for the opposing team. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. Stormers wheeling the scrum twice in a row, and then suddenly that kind of switches. Nothing's really changed, except, I don't know, ref's perspective. But yeah, coming back to, I'll come back to another incident where I believe the ref got it horribly wrong. But I cannot, even though I disagree with a lot of the calls made by the ref, I cannot fault him on a lot of the discipline issues that the Stormers were experiencing. And that instance, I would lay the blame squarely at the feet of the Stormers, because they haven't been performing as they should be, not as we expect them to, or that we used to have them perform. A lot of key players being back, obviously Sasha Farmer-Gomezulu this time around as well. We have Devin Willemse, Warwick Galant, Ivan Ruiz is back again, and yet still, even though the performance was marginally better, it's still pretty much lacking. Now, I don't know if it's, again, just the Sharks that hit on a winning recipe against the Stormers, but this kind of shouldn't be happening. We should see a lot better performance from the Stormers. But I do believe that the Stormers was robbed of a losing bonus point. I didn't expect them to win this game, judging by the performance. The discipline issues on the Stormers as well. Initlik Verscheer taking out a player off the ball completely. Taking out a defender off the ball, being cited for obstruction there. We see several yellow cards coming out. Paul de Villiers getting a yellow card for collapsing the scrum, and then Van Heerden as well. A lot of discipline issues. The Stormers conceding, I think, about 16 penalties judge, in comparison to the Sharks' 12 penalties conceded, 2 yellow cards, like I said. Luckily, no red card, or even a yellow card referred to the bunker. But again, Stormers making 202 tackles. The Sharks, compared to the Sharks 60, their defense was on standard. It's just there's just a few line breaks that they obviously, turnover balls lost, line breaks that they missed, and really strong carries by the Sharks players, bulldozing over the try line to get their absolute win, their massive win of the day. So pretty well played to them. It was fantastic. I mean, the opening score was done by Kobus Reinach. Unfortunately, Sasha couldn't convert that one, so it was a 5-0 till about the 11th minute, when Grant Williams scored the first try for the Sharks, and Hendrickse seems to have his kicking boots on from the get-go. Sasha then basically slotted 2 penalty goals, bringing the Stormers back up to, I think, 11-7 against the Sharks. So it was a bit of a seesaw match up right at the beginning of the first half. Ethan Hooker then slots a beautiful line break into a try, around about the 24th minute, putting them 12-11, just sort of 1 point ahead, with a conversion by Hendrickse, making it about 3 points ahead. Sasha then slots 2 more penalty goals, sort of right up to the end of the first half, bringing the score to about 17-14. So the Stormers going into halftime in the lead. So immediately you feel kind of, okay, there's a chance. The performance isn't great, only getting 1 try for the first half against the Sharks, 2 tries, but we did manage to kind of set an equilibrium by slotting 4 penalty goals. So the Sharks kind of struggling with discipline issues right at the beginning in the first half. Not as bad as us. I mean, Paul de Villiers getting a yellow card for willfully collapsing the scrum just before Grant Williams scored his try. And that was out and out done to kind of prevent the try from happening. So I think Paul can be very lucky that they weren't awarded a penalty try, because it happened, I think, within about 10 meters of the try line, within the Stormers 22. Pretty much some discipline issues for the Sharks that kind of put them on the back leg coming into the second half. But as soon as they did, the gameplay visibly improved. Paul de Villiers scored a fantastic, powerful carry over the try line in the first opening minutes of the second half, but that's basically where it ended. As soon as Van Heerden went off for a yellow card, it was Esterhuizen scoring, it was Jaco Williams scoring, and it was Jaco Williams again scoring right at the end. But I have to speak about this one, the very first try by Jaco Williams, and I do not believe, and I'll put up the footage for you to basically illustrate what I mean. As just sort of to paint a picture, the ball was being, sort of a long up and over chip and chase, basically being kicked by Jordan Hendrickse, and Jaco Williams gives chase. Now, Warwick Galant was at the ball first. First arrival at the ball, just waiting for the ball to come, keep rolling, hopefully rolling over the deadline. But, with less than 10 minutes on the clock, and the ball basically coming to a stop about, say, 2-3 meters before the deadline, right at the back of the try box or the goal box, you don't he pauses, bends down slowly to try and pick up the ball, and in comes Jaco Williams with a charge down and slides over. Now again, the referee, kudos to him, he calls for the TMO to basically double check this, because his on-field decision is a try. Okay, as obviously in slow motion, frame by frame, they run the footage again, and let me put the footage up for you now. They run the footage again, and you can clearly see Warwick Galant's hands on the ball first before Jaco Williams comes into frame. He then slides into frame, and as you will see, as you run it frame by frame, his hand pushes Grant Warwick Galan's hand off the ball. It doesn't actually physically ground it. The ref sees this, I believe. I can't imagine him not seeing this when he's looking at the big screen, and comes to the conclusion, tells the team, okay, cut back to me, I've seen enough, and he awards the try. I was like, what? Are we seeing the same footage here? There was no clear grounding by Jaco Williams. I'm pretty sure that was his intent to do, but number one, Warwick Galan's hand was on the ball first, while it is in contact with the ground. So that is to me, that is a legal dead ball. He's killed it. Even though he didn't pick it up and then jot it down, the hand is on the ball. It actually is in physical contact, is in control of the ball, and the ball is in contact with the ground. So to me, that's a dead ball. It's a given. So for this to kind of now be deemed a try when there is no real clear contact or direct contact into a grounding between Jaco Williams and the ball, I cannot for the life of me see how this can be awarded as a try. This try, however, is awarded, and the Stormers lose by more than 7 points, 24-36. If this try had not been awarded, Stormers would have been within the 7-point margin and qualify for losing bonus points. So I clearly, although I do not excuse Warwick Galan's behavior there, what was he waiting for? There's less than 10 minutes on the clock. We still need to score and convert a try to just break even with the Sharks. What was he waiting for? It's just. So I'm not saying Warwick Galan is completely blameless here at all. Don't know what he was thinking. But yeah, again, the Stormers being marred by ball handling errors. When they, especially with wonderful, beautiful attack movement, with a massive line break by Dylan Mart, not amounting to any points on the board because they lose the ball in contact. Also going for some fantastic backline attack movements, and then a ball is lost forward, or it's the long pass goes wrong and the ball is lost forward, or the ball is fumbled, or the ball is intercepted, and it's just amounts to absolutely nothing. So these are areas I think the Stormers can really, really focus on going forward from here. Other than that, their set plays was pretty much oiled. Except for the two wheeling scrums, which I don't believe was a Stormers' fault. Their scrum set plays was world class. They won quite a few penalties over there. Their lineouts was there's no problem there. There was no issue there really. But it's just the discipline. There's honestly just the discipline that was the issue. 90% lineouts won. Almost 100% of their scrums win, which was just typical Stormers play. Our scrums are our forte. It's our strength, and we do tend to play to our strengths. Get the scrums down, win the penalty, and then put the opponents on the back foot. But it was just these unforced errors, these soft penalties. The Sharks doing an absolute bang-up job to keep the pressure right from the start, although they fought quite hard. Conceding the penalties right at the beginning in the first half didn't help. Just basically transferring momentum and pressure back onto the Storm, onto themselves from the Stormer side. But then they would retaliate with strong carries from Pepsi Buthelezi, Siya Kolisi, and Jordan Hendrickse. Some massive line breaks by Ethan Hooker, Andre Esterhuizen, and Jaco Williams. Andre Esterhuizen making a fantastic try. It's just that kind of performance that, once again, it begs the question to the Stormers. They need to do better. No problem with the set plays. the defense could use some work, although 102 tackles made, that's massive. That is massive, but it also is just evidence for the amount of ball possession that was conceded to the Sharks. And this is another thing that I would like to talk about, the high ball. Sharks has, over the last 2 weeks, proven to us that they can handle the high ball pretty well. They can maintain it, retrieve it, no issue. For their hoists, it is a safe bet, because they will always have somebody there, either Pepsi Buthelezi, Jaco Williams, or Grant Williams, ready to contest the ball, or any number of the Sharks players could be there. Ethan Hooker to retrieve the ball, putting immediate pressure on the Stormers while they're on the back foot in their own territory. But also when the Stormers basically hoist the ball and fail to kind of follow up and put the pressure on the first receiver of the ball, then kind of rethink your kicking strategies. Rather try the little cross kicks for immediate follow up. Maybe some of the grubbers. There was quite a few sort of grubber kicks that nearly ended up in points for the Stormers, but unfortunately the Sharks having their defensive strategy pretty much oiled as well, so making it really hard for the Stormers to actually physically put points on the board. And that's, I think, where the Stormers kind of fell flat a bit, and they really need to work on this. And now, of course, we're coming to the Bulls, last but not least, and what a performance. Wow, the guys from the Northern Gauteng, Pretoria area has really pulled out all the stops for this one. Performing very well in the week before's game against the Lions at Emirates Park, and this time around performing an absolute banger at the Ellis Park Stadium. Mone Ferreira presiding over this game, and boy, was this a game. The Bulls' performance right off the starting blocks was absolutely amazing. Harold Foster, off the starting blocks within the 9th minute, scoring a beautiful, absolutely strong carry try across the, underneath the poles, making it so easy for Pollard to convert that. Arendse, though, going off with a yellow card, which is, kind of unfortunate because it's not really intended that way, with a in-air contact with Richard Kriel, which is really unfortunate. It was just like Richard Kriel basically, colliding with Kirkley Arendse in the air, kind of twisting him in a very uncomfortable position as he's coming down onto his back. Luckily for him, not on the neck area, but on the sort of the upper back area, squeezing or knocking every single inch of air out of his lungs. I mean, that kid was on the ground writhing in pain, and I think it was pretty much just kind of the shock of it all. But as you hit, I don't know, you get totally winded, and you feeling you're lying on the ground gasping for air, which is you're feeling like you're going to die there for a second. I don't know, and we've all probably experienced that at some point in our lives, being totally winded, hit, on the sternum, or just going flat out, bam, full force onto the back. I mean, he came down pretty hard, and then having all that, every single inch of oxygen knocked out of your lungs, to kind of feel that kind of gasping for air, and your whole breathing pattern is kind of disrupted, I think, as well, which is kind of painful. But Bulls in general in top form. Grobelaar scoring a massive try that was shortly followed up by Pollard. Then Arendse coming back, scoring a fantastic line break into a try as well. Basically scoring a bonus point, 4 tries into a bonus point before half time, before the 40 minutes was actually finished. So Lions not really starting off, only scoring a penalty goal within the first half. So coming into this second half already, in a 28-3 deficit, but then to kind of claw back hard, up to 17 points. I really have to put it to the Lions. They tried. They tried their best. It wasn't, unfortunately, one of the best performances we've ever seen them playing. But they fought. They fought back hard. There was quite a few discipline issues as well, which kind of also put them on the back foot. But that was kind of on both sides, I think. I think the discipline was a bit shaky, sort of on either side. Unfortunately, for Strevino Jacobs being tackled over the touchline, losing the ball forward in the goal box, otherwise the Bulls would have gone into halftime with 5 tries rather than 4. But yeah, as they came back, Mone van den Berg scoring a beautiful try for himself as well in the 44th minute, converted by Chris Smith. Chris Smith was probably the highest point scorer in the game, I think. And then basically just before full time, on the 80th minute, Mills basically scoring a try again for the Lions, but a little too little too late, unfortunately. Discipline basically causing missed opportunities on both sides as well, but especially on the Lions side, where they would launch a fantastic, again, just like the Stormers, they would launch fantastic attack movements, but it's then ball fumbling, losing the ball in contact, long passes missed, interceptions by the Bulls. One fantastic interception by Stedman Gans that really put I think that basically converted into Foster's second try. So it kind of really putting the Lions on the back foot and just converting pressure the whole time, pressure that the Lions just couldn't escape from, and eventually the Bulls had a whole lot of questions and the Lions just no answers for it. So pretty much lacking on the defensive side, I would think. The Lions, that's something that they could definitely improve on. They have, in general, they have been doing pretty well in defensive, on the defensive department. 174 tackles made by them, compared to the Bulls, only making 98 tackles. But like I said, in the Stormers game, that is basically testament of just Bulls ball possession and the failed strategic kicking by the Lions. Bulls handling the high ball as well very well. So any kind of kicking strategy employed by the Lions was immediately 9 times out of 10 turned over by the Bulls, and then again, mounting pressure coming from behind, just the forwards battering their defensive lines whilst they get into the 22, then breaking for a fantastic backline attack strategy that would 9 times out of 10 see a fantastic line break into a try that we've seen with Kirtley Arons right in the sort of hitting the bonus point try for the Bulls. Just absolutely fantastic play. Ambrose Papier himself, fantastic. Wow, fantastic game plays by him. There is a kind of issue where he did, and this is also what I would like to see kind of more of, because the referee called this down the middle, 100% correct. He's chased down by, I think, Kewan Horn as he retrieves the ball off a hoist or a strategic kick by Chris Smith. He's tackled by Kewan Horn. Kewan Horn kind of rolls over him, but he goes down, off his feet. He then immediately gets up and starts running. Now, the rules are very clear here that as soon as you are tackled, or the player goes off or the ball carrier goes off his feet, he is then released so he can then get back up and start running. But he's got to let go of the ball. So while you're on the ground, he has to let go of the ball, get back up, then retrieve the ball, and then starts running. Now, a lot of the players obviously ignores this rule, and apparently from past experience that we've seen, a lot of referees seems to be ignoring that rule as well. In this instance, Ambrose Papier was rightfully penalized for that infraction, and I'd like to see more of that. Another emphatic rule within rugby is within scrums, balls must be placed or fed into the scrum straight in between the two teams, down the gain line, and the hooker has then the responsibility to hook the ball back for his team. But we hardly ever see this happen. The hooker more focuses on pushing in the scrum, while the scrum off basically inserts the ball to his side. Generally, you could watch, go watch any kind of scrimmaging as the ball gets put in slow motion. He literally feeds the ball into the scrum to his team. So, which is something that is clearly ignored by the referees all round. I mean, I've never seen a single scrum off or team being blown up for that infraction. Although it's drilled into your head, especially on school level rugby, that you have to put the ball in straight. That is it. If you don't, that's a penalty against you. But the Lions, like I said, fought back very hard. It was, like I said, too little too late. Unfortunately, the efforts for naught as the Bulls just completely bulldozed over the Lions defenses in the second half, especially. Tries by Foster again, second try, Papier, followed up by Gumede, and then Johannes as well. Keegan Johannes scoring a fantastic try for his team, run about between the 70th and 80th minute. This is just basically evidence of the fantastic Bulls' tenacity, and how they have literally made some massive improvements. I think Coach Ackerman basically has also pretty much checked out where the improvements needs to be made. He's then patched a whole lot of the flaws and holes that the Bulls was experiencing within their playing strategies, and I think he's done pretty well over the last few games. Didn't start too well within the URC, but they systematically made improvements, and now they're at this point, and I think they truly have a serious chance to kind of make it within the playoffs, or into the playoffs here. But that still remains to be seen. We are now hitting a bit of a dry spell as the South African teams are getting a bit of a break for the URC. I think the Six Nations is starting now, and then South Africa has to prepare themselves for probably one of the all-time favorite grade matches, between them and the All Blacks. But I'll be talking about that in just a minute. The All Blacks tour coming up in August this year, 7th of August. The All Blacks will be going up against the DHL Stormers. Hollywood Bed Sharks going up against the All Blacks on the 11th of August. The Vodacom Bulls will be trying their luck against the All Blacks on the 15th of August. And the Springboks, the Lions, against the All Blacks on the 25th of August. And then again, the Springboks, 29th of August, 22nd of August, 5th of September, and 12th of September, taking on the gentlemen from New Zealand. So it's going to be a packed lineup for this kind of professional rivalry, this year, and it's exciting because I'm looking forward to these games. These are going to be massive games and some massive performances, and I'm really hoping to see that that our clubs, our four major clubs, will be up to the task to take on the men from New Zealand before our national team has to face them in an all-out derby. I think in the one venue still needs to be concluded. The one Springboks game will be in Ellis Park. The next one will be in the FNB Stadium, and then also one in the DHL Stadium. But there is rumors that the 12th of September game will be concluded in a designated stadium within America. Why they decided on that, I have no idea. But yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles at the moment, and we'll be looking forward to all those games coming up. Now, yeah, that's it from me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Just to come up, sort of get back to the lineup, how the URC table is standing at the moment. We are now watching Glasgow Warriors right at the top. Leinster have moved now, like I predicted, into the second spot. Stormers is now lying third. Ulster fourth. Cardiff Rugby is lying in fifth spot. Munster in the sixth position. Bulls have moved up into seventh position. Ospreys is lying at eighth. Sharks is lying at ninth. The Lions is coming in at 10th. the top 8 for the playoffs now, going into the URC. Yeah. But we'll have to see. Maybe within this, the next couple of games, they will be hopefully making improvements. Lions could still be moving into the top 8. Lions, I don't know. They're going to need to make some massive improvements if they are hoping to see any kind of hound or hare of the top 8 teams going into the finals and semis, or the quarters and the semis for the URC. Then, of course, just below the Lions, we've got Benetton at 11. We've got Connacht at 12th place. Edinburgh Rugby at 13th. Dragons RFC lying at 14th spot. Scarlets in 15th. And Zebra in 16th position with only 12 points. The top three teams, obviously, all racking in a total of 44 points for the Glasgow Warriors, 40 points for Leinster, and then 36 points for Stormers. Gonna need to make some massive improvements, and we really could have done with that bonus point now over this past weekend, but unfortunately not to be. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Please leave me your comments in the comments field below. Let me know what you think. How can the Stormers improve? How can the Lions improve? Do you think there's still a bit of a chance for the Sharks and the Lions to make it into the top 8 now coming in for the playoffs? Or during the playoffs? I think the Bulls and the Stormers are pretty much secured. But yeah, there's going to have to be some positions sacrificed, probably Ospreys and Munster, but we'll have to see what happens. Cardiff is still lying pretty strong, as well as Ulster. Yeah, if there's any hope for the Sharks or the Bulls to maintain their position, maybe within the top 8, it's probably going to be either Munster or Ospreys that's going to be falling out. But yeah, let me know your comments and your thoughts in the comments field below, and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Please take care of yourselves and your loved ones. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Smith for Kewan Hall. And then the pass intercepted by Stedman Gans. Is there something else left in the half for the Vodacom Bulls? They may get their bonus point before half-time. Forster holds it up just long enough. It's beautiful from Papier, and the finish from Arendse.
Some great following up. So Stedman Gans does well here. The offload again, but he doesn't have the juice to get there. Good chase from Van der Berg, but Ambrose Papier, that's excellent.